Are you an HVAC professional looking to set your business apart? Then the Leading HVAC Podcast is your go-to resource. I'm Kimon Hines, coach and trainer at SVE. And in this podcast, we'll share stories of success and struggle from leaders in the HVAC industry. You'll hear from experienced executives, managers, and innovators, providing you with the hard-earned insights from their journeys. These insights will equip you with the knowledge you need to navigate challenges and truly lead in the ever-evolving HVAC world. Welcome back to the Leading HVAC Podcast. I'm your host, Kimon Hines. We have another exciting episode today. But before we get into it, I want to remind you, make sure you subscribe to this podcast on YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube, or on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to this episode on. Today, I have with me two guests, not one, but two guests, Tonya and Corey Collins. They are from Universal Heating and Cooling. Tonya and Corey, welcome to the Leading HVAC Podcast.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We're glad to have you. I'm excited about what we're going to talk about. Tonya, Corey, introduce yourselves. Tell us the role you play in your company. Just tell us a little bit about that and your involvement in your company.
Well, my name is Tonya, and I've been with Universal my whole entire adult life. This is the only job I've ever had, so I've had several roles within the company. But currently, I guess you could say I'm general manager. That pretty much sums it up.
Mm-hmm. Corey, like Kimon said, but I've been here now, I guess this is going on year 11, I think. So after I graduated college, came pretty much straight here, did some different stuff in high school and college for jobs. But once I got out in the actual working world, I came here and I've had quite a few jobs in it, helped on some installs, ran some service, still every now and then run a few sales calls, stuff like that, but mostly handle or work with our service guys and technical support with our installers. They have problems on startups and stuff like that. I don't really know an actual title, just kind of, when my phone rings, I just need to pick it up and see what, needs to be done.
Yeah. You can tell this is going to be a fun episode. Now, Tonya and Corey both have the same last name. So you're going to tell everyone how you two are related.
Mother, son.
Yeah.
Awesome. So as you said, Tonya, you've been in this business your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about like how did you get involved and how has it been for your whole life? Like, who started this business?
Well, this is our 50th anniversary this year. My parents started the business. I'm not going to say exactly how long because then that'll show my age completely. But they started it, and pretty much it was just my dad. My mom answered the phones. My dad did everything, the installs, the selling, the service. He's grown the business over the years. Then I come to work during the summers when I was out of school in high school, and then full time when I got out of high school. So I've answered the phones and done the filing, and it just progressed from that. So now my dad is retired, and my husband works in the company as well. So you can see we have a lot of family. My sister's in the company, so it's a very family-oriented business with my dad still popping in to give his 2 cents when he sees fit. So we make it work for the most part, but it's challenging sometimes. But it's fun. But we just do what we need to do to get the job done. Nobody really has titles. You kind of know some of your responsibilities that you've got to do on a daily basis, but the rest of that, you just do what needs to be done.
Awesome. So one of the things that we want to talk about in this episode is succession, how you work between passing on leadership. How do you share leadership? Because a lot of our companies are family started, and sometimes there's a challenge. How do you move from one generation to the next? And so you all have done a good job of that. Now, Tonya, you said you've done almost everything, right? You answered the phones. How is that transition from one role, starting out of high school, to, now general manager, but at different points, different titles?
A lot of bumps in the road. I had no formal training or anything like that. It was just kind of learned by trial and error. Well, at times it seemed to go okay. I encountered a little bit of a problem. It was pretty much with the workforce that we had back in, I would say probably 2004 through 2007, 2008. That was when my dad was not, he was involved, but he didn't want to be 100% involved. He was starting to pass off a lot more of his responsibilities to me. And the installers we had and the install manager we had at the time did not like that. They were not going to work for me. I think it was just more that I was a woman. And my husband worked in the install department at the time. He was a lead installer. That didn't help. So that was a really tough time, but we got through it. And my husband's still here, but none of those people are. So that was the good part. We kind of started fresh after that. And it's been a lot better since then. I've not had that problem at all from anyone actually that we've had working here since then. And I don't know if it was because they saw me as the person that was answering the phone and now she's telling me where I'm supposed to go. I don't have a clue what was exactly the reason, but we made it through it.
Yeah. Well, Tonya, it seemed like you kept a good spirit about you even during those difficult times.
It was an emotional time, I will tell you, and I'm a very emotional person, believe me. So there were days it was pretty challenging, but we made it work.
Now, Corey, you saw this business, I guess, from the time you knew yourself, this business is around, your parents are involved. Was there any thought, I'm not going to go into this, I'm going to do something else? Talk about that, or maybe all along you knew I was going to do this.
No, actually, I went to college to become a math teacher. So that's what I went to school for. I wanted to coach high school baseball and teach. But they kind of got in the classroom and I was like, yeah, this is definitely not for me. I can't, there's no way. So I just finished the math side of my degree or whatever, and then come out and really didn't know what I was going to do. And then kind of a needed position, I guess, in Universal did come about, and Mom actually said something to me about it because I worked on a landscape truck in high school and college, and I was still working as that after I graduated, but knew I didn't want to do that forever. So she come talk to me about it, and it was actually just booking our maintenance agreements and getting the schedule kind of handled, getting that off because Tiffany was doing it at that point, and kind of the office staff was pretty much thin at that point. A lot of new construction, a lot of I don't really know what you want us to call it, but just three of you in the office, I guess, at that point in time, and on new construction, quite a bit of new construction. I think 6 or 7 new construction crews at that point. So that kind of opened up on the service side to try to help book maintenance agreements, order parts, get that kind of stuff. And then I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. So came about there, and then kind of we need this here. So then I kind of just jumped over for wherever, and now I coach technicians and help them out whenever I can. And and now here we are.
So you still coach?
Get to use that coaching.
Yeah.
Still get the coach. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Tonya, because I've been on coaching calls with both of you, I've seen the dynamic that you have more leadership responsibilities on Corey than when he first started. All right.
Absolutely.
So how do you, and this is for someone who's watching this, they're thinking, okay, I have someone, it may be a family member, it may just be someone else in the business who they want to groom for a leadership position. How do you, first of all, begin preparing Corey for this position? And when do you know, okay, I can start giving him more leadership, I can take longer vacations, how does that process go?
Honestly, I'm not going to take the credit for grooming Corey for leadership at all. When Corey started working here, it was December of 2013. He worked here until September of 2014, it was, right? We were invited by our York dealer to come to Nashville and listen to these people that's coming from Arizona. And I'm not trying to blow smoke here to make y'all think y'all are the greatest people. Honestly, this is just the honest truth. This is how it happened. When that happened, Corey went, I went, my sister went, and we listened to Corey Holman and I think Dave was there.
Yeah.
We listened to them, and instantly after we heard them talk, we all kind of huddled over here when it was over, and he was right on board. I was on board. My sister was finally on board, and we signed up right then and there that day. I think that has helped groom him to be the leader he is today more than anything I've done. The only thing I've done is maybe, and I hope he would agree with this, stay out of his way when he wants to try new things, do new things. He never just goes and does anything. He will come and ask, like, hey, I'm thinking about this or that. And, I probably give him some pushback from time to time. I'm not going to say 100% every idea he's had I've been totally on board with. But he will try to explain it to me, and then we've moved forward. But he is the type of person that he will step up and he will say, okay, we've got a hole right here. Somebody's got to fill it, and I will do it. And he's done it. Right after that, we joined, and then in 2015, May, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We lost a technician. Today we lost a technician, and then the next day it was like 90 something degrees, and it just hit the fan, and we only had one technician. So he put a tool belt on, and he's never run service calls before in his life.
Wow.
We brought in a man by the name of Tom. I don't know if you've heard us talk about him or not, but he used to work for us in the 80s. Great guy. He was a great friend of the family. He was retired, and we said, will you come to work for us and train him how to run service? And Tom got in the truck. He was happy to do it. He enjoyed it. He liked being the teacher. So Corey did all the grunt work, and Tom did all the teaching. He ran service for one summer, and now he's the tech support for all of our service technicians. So I can't take the credit. I just know when to back off and say, he's got this. I'm going to let him handle it. And hey, I am totally fine with that. Believe me, totally fine. I don't, people tell me, oh, it's hard to let go. It's hard to let go of some things when you don't feel like the person that you have handling it knows what they're doing or is doing a very good job. But when you have 100% confidence in that person, it's very easy for me to let go, believe me.
I love it. Now, Corey, tell us the other side of this. How does it feel to step up, even to take responsibilities that, Tonya had before, and now you're holding their responsibility, and, maybe even leading out in meetings when previously Tonya might have led out in that meeting? How is that? Is there any sort of apprehension, any nervousness? Because maybe there's someone else who now has to step up, and they might be feeling some of those feelings.
Yeah. I mean, I guess kind of the big thing is most everybody that works, I think everybody that works there has got a lot of respect for mom. So it's kind of like you got to get their respect, I guess, kind of first before it's like, yeah, you might have 30 years experience. I'm not telling you how to do your job. We're just, kind of, I don't know. It's kind of just try to get the workforce together on everyone's side, essentially. Mm-hmm. And then, but as far as trying to do it right or whatever, or the responsibility on it, it's kind of just, you got to do it as good as she did it, or, whoever I'm taking that spot for, or better. So it's not really this is what I just need to do it. Like, this is the way they did. I got to do it here or better kind of thing. Like, I don't want that part to regress when I'm in control of it. So in order to do that, like, for lack of a better, I can't suck at it pretty much. So you just, you got to go be successful at it, and whatever it takes, I guess, is what you just got to do, whether it's right or wrong. And if it's wrong, figure it out and then fix it as quick as you can.
Yeah. I'm curious, Tonya, has it been like a meeting where Corey's running the meeting, you're now allowing him to run the meeting, and maybe at a point, maybe you have to go debrief with him afterwards to say, okay, this is something that I would have done differently. Have you all had any of those conversations at all along the way?
There's one thing she hates running meetings.
Okay.
Yeah. So as soon as she could get rid of that, it was like, all right, here, these are yours. So
Oh, if I say that, he might say, well, okay, next time you can do it. I don't want that to happen. So no, no, no,
like, yeah.
no. He has a service meeting every month with the guys. He goes over coaching and stuff. The only thing we do is we do have a Google sheet that we're like service meeting topics. So if there's something that I specifically want him to address and go over with him, we'll just put it on that. He'll add into the slideshow. He goes over the slideshow with me before, like, hey, this is, does this make sense or whatever? And it's not really, honestly, I hope he doesn't think he's showing me this for my approval. It's more just like, hey, what do you just a second opinion before I get out there in front of them is do I need to change anything? Do you understand what I'm trying to communicate to them? Do you think they'll understand it? That's all it is. And then, if I'm like, hey, you're not stressing that point enough. I want this really, really discussed. But no, I don't think I've debriefed anything to say, well, I wouldn't have said that, because there's a lot of things that I wouldn't have said because I would have handled it really poorly. He's a lot better with people. Like I said, my emotions show on my face. I fly off the handle a lot easier than he does 90% of the time. I'm not going to say 100%.
No,
of the
it's
time,
not
because
100% of the time,
I've
for sure.
seen him sometimes, and it's like, why are you flying off the handle of this? But as far as at work, I think I'm a lot better now than I was 10 years ago. But I tolerate a lot, so I let it build up, and then when it gets to that point, then I explode. I don't think he does that as much.
Yeah.
Not as much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she had over the last 10 years or so, because for some reason, like I was getting the complaint customers sent to me, but we had a new CSR about 2 years ago, and he started bringing them to her, and I'm like, I'm not gonna step in and be like, hey,
Yeah.
no, those go to me. So I was like, she was handling them great. I mean, just probably done better than I've done with them in the past. So it's kind of like no, the motion thing she talked about, she's done a lot better for sure in the last 6 or 8 years.
Yeah. One of the things that I want everyone to catch from what is happening in this dynamic, if you are preparing someone else for leadership, trust is definitely a big thing. And some of that trust might be trust that you have to give and just allow the person a chance to do leadership in their own way. Second is what you mentioned, Tonya, that simple Google sheet that, hey, if I have a topic, I'll put it on here. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time telling you what I want you to do. I may give small suggestions because ultimately, as you're saying, you want Corey to take over the leadership. And I think that's a good lesson for everyone. And then, just the ability that you two, or the intentional way that you two are talking about, okay, here's what we're going to share. And Corey, you're running it by Tonya. As Tonya said, maybe not even for approval, but just as a sounding board. All of those are great. I just hope everyone who is watching this and you need to prepare someone else, just take these simple principles and put them into practice with that person that you're preparing for leadership.
Yeah.
Now, Tonya, I have to ask you this. Has this allowed you to work less, be able to, what are some of the things helping Corey to now take over in leadership? What has that allowed you to do?
Well, the first test, so he does great on the service side. And like he said, he has the respect from everyone in the company.
Mhm.
There's not a person from the oldest age employee to the youngest employee. They all listen to him and respect him. He has installed, he's done some installing, but he worked primarily that one summer in service, not a full summer in install. And he would help out here and there as we got like swamped. He's filled in on some Saturdays and Sundays, even working with the install guys, but not enough to have a lot of install experience, to where we felt, okay, can he handle the questions they may have if we're not there, if we're on vacation? And he's run a few sales calls, not many. And then in 2020, we decided we were going to take a trip that we wanted to take. But this trip would mean we would be gone for 3 to 4 weeks. And Carrie, which is Corey's father, my husband, is the install manager. And he was like, "What do you think he's ready, to answer the questions for the installers?" Now, the installers are going to they're going to sit there and they're going to listen to him all day long, and he can diagnose the unit and walk them through, "You've got it wired wrong, this and that." The ductwork is something that he's not been as involved in and didn't have as much experience. So I'm like, "Look, I'm ready. I think he's ready. This will be the test. We've got phones. We've got an iPad. We can FaceTime. Let's go." And my dad was there too. So I'm like, if he has something that he can't get in touch with us, Dad's there. He can do it. Let's do it. So he was on board and we left. We checked in with him every night, but that was just as much a personal note as business. But
Yeah.
business and personal is very intertwined. So we checked in with him, I think, every morning. And then, we answered the questions he had and worked through some things and it worked. He did a great job. Unfortunately for him, because that means every August he's got it. It's his. So we were like, he can do this. We didn't come home to problems. And I'll be honest with you, that's the first time that Carrie and I have come back from a vacation. And that's the first time we've ever taken that much time off work. It's been no more than a week and a half. And we came home from vacation and we didn't have this pile of stuff that we had to deal with. Everything was done. It was just a matter of catch up on a few things we might need to know. But the rest of that, y'all have done it. It's in the books. It's passed. That's it. So that was a wonderful feeling to know he was ready. So we keep telling him, "Okay, you've got another August to learn and another August to learn. And then soon it'll be every month. You can have it." That's where we're going. But
Yeah. Well,
How was that from your side, Corey? They're going away 3 weeks, right?
yeah, I mean, the first time was pretty scary. It was, like, holy crap, here it is. Like, this is, I get to make the big decisions basically. But it kind of helps because it's like, like she said, if they're gone a week, like you can push some stuff for 4 or 5 business days. Like, it's not where it's like, well, so and so's gone. Let me get you a message and then they'll call you back. When they're gone 21, 28 days, like, people aren't that patient. So it forces, so whoever you're trying to like put in that role or whatever you want to test your systems, I guess, leave for 3 weeks because it's gotta go within that amount of time. So you can't push it for when so and so comes back 5 days later, 6 days later, whatever it is. So it kind of, I mean, we get to find out what works, what didn't, in that amount of time. Because that August was a very good August. Usually here is kind of a hit or miss. Like, it's one of our, it could start getting cool pretty quick in August, or it's still 100 degrees and everything's rolling still like it's the end of summer. But the first year was warm. It stayed busy. It stayed moving. So it tested everything. Found out like, that year, Billy wasn't one of our CSRs at that point, but the CSR we had at that point in time did a really good job, kind of working through it. And then Billy, he's been with us for three and a half years now or so, I think. And
22 was his first
year. So 2022 is his first year, and that first year, kind of the 23 and 24, he stepped up real big and kind of like, hey, you got a sales estimate. Pretty much anything that come in, customer issues, he handled them. I didn't even really have to ask him. Like, he's like, "Here, you had a busy day. I got these taken care of. This is what this so-and-so called and asked this question. I handle it." So it kind of like let you know who in the organization too is ready for more, kind of thing too.
That's good. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a good story. Now, Tonya, I have to ask you this because you're like the person you've received leadership and the opportunity to lead from your parents, and now you're passing it down to Corey. And this is a family business. You mentioned your sister works there. What is one tip you would give to someone working in a family business to ensure that you're able to do business well and still relate well?
Don't wear your feelings on your shoulders.
That's the tip.
because it weighs really, really heavy.
Yeah.
No, you're going to get your feelings hurt because people just hurt people's feelings. But
Mm,
no, at the end of the day, that's still family. They've got your back and they love you.
that's good. That's good.
That's probably been the biggest lesson. Business is business. You have to do business. But we have to be a family too. So
Do you have one, Corey? What have you learned?
Um, yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing on what Tanya said, but then it's kind of like just a lot of times got to not take stuff personally. Like it's not, when it is more of a family business, or like, well, we try to treat everybody as much like family as possible. But it's like when, somebody leaves or somebody, don't accept it, or whatever, it's kind of like, all right, just move on and let's find that role, not as like it, like I said, I've worked other jobs and stuff before in high school and college, and I don't really kind of, I guess it's maybe bad to say, but I really didn't care as much. Like it was like, here's my daily tasks. Let's go get these yards cut. Let's go get this mulch out, whatever. And it's like, neighbor comes up, can you cut my yard? Like, yeah, here, we can do it if you want us to. But like at that point, it's not that whether we do it or not, at the end of the day, 18, 19 years old, I could really care less kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of more of a personal, like we want to see the family business continue to grow, continue to get better for the however many people we end up having here work here.
Yeah.
Because it's more than just the family that is providing for. So it's kind of, I don't know, I kind of rambled on about, off topic a little bit, I guess, but it's kind of just keep the focus on everybody that's working there, but just not take the little things personally, either from customers or employees that come and go or whatever. Just kind of, keep moving forward. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I know what he's trying to say here. He's trying to say, don't let a little something make it your main focus to let everything else get off course. Because we have a lot of people that depend on us. I mean, we think of, Kelsey asked us a question one time for one of the conferences, why do you do what you do?
Yeah.
And I answered that question to her and told her I do it because at that time I had a son-in-law that worked here, Corey's family, there's my husband and myself, my sister's family, we've got all of our installers and their families, our service guys, and then the people that work in the office. So don't let something personally irritate you so much, because we had this happen. I know exactly what he's talking about. We had this happen. We had an employee he worked for us for 32 years, 31 years. He was a family friend, we thought, and found out he was stealing from us.
Wow.
Stealing customers, stealing parts. I don't know how much, we found out, Corey found out in the end of October, early November of 2021. And we fired him. It was a very emotional thing for all of us, because this man was at my wedding. This man come to see me when he was born. This is how long we've known this person. And we fired him mid-November, and November and December were horrible months for us. Personally, just, you just were so like somebody pulled the rug out from underneath you. And in the business, we were irritated with each other. We were irritated at ourselves for being so blind and not seeing it. And just felt really bad that someone had taken advantage of us like that. Someone that we trusted. And I guess it was January of 2022. My dad, my husband, we want to sue him. We want to sue him, because we had books of all of these customers that he had stolen from us and everything. And he's like, we want to sue him, because we talked to an attorney before we fired him to make sure we did this the correct way and everything. So he's like, oh, you should sue him. Well, of course, an attorney is going to say that, because he's on the win-win situation here. We were upset. physically, our bodies were just like
Mm.
trying to deal with this. We had a very hard meeting one evening in, I think it was January, right, of 2022. And it was a lot of, I say this in a nice way, yelling at each other, trying to get our points across, discussion, crying on my part. We got all those feelings out about it. We talked about it and we said, okay, this is it. We have to agree. Either we're going to sue him or we're not going to sue him. We're making the decision tonight and we're moving forward. We did. We decided we're not, because the whole time we would have this case go on, it's just going to eat at all of us. Put it behind us and move on. 2022, the rest of 2022 was our best year on record so far, right? But we had to get that past us.
Yeah.
So that's what he's saying when you work with family, and which, I mean, it doesn't have to be family, it's anyone, but
Right.
when you work with family and then you've got part of the family that says, we're going to do this and we're going to, you know, and then the rest, no, we're not. And the ones that did not want to sue were the ones that knew they would be heavily involved in everything that was going on. The ones that wanted to sue, it was just a matter of support they would get. I mean, they, you know, we would be the ones to have to get all the records, and basically every time you talk to the attorney, relive the situation. So it would pull your focus away from the business. And we had too many people that counted on us not to be looking backwards. So we started looking forwards, and that's, we don't talk about him. That's in the past.
Yeah.
And then I bring this up. So, you know, but it's a learning experience for everyone. I will tell you, pay attention, stay on top of your service technicians. He was the only employee we've ever given a key to at that point that was not family.
Corey, Tonya, thank you for telling that story. I know it's a tough story, but someone can learn from it. Corey, you said something. A lot of families depend on us, not just our family, because I know it's interesting. We were in Nashville together, and Tonya, you're like, yeah, we got to get home. It's baseball season. We don't miss games. And I'm sure you don't just look at this business with Corey in it. You think about your grandkids and you think about your wider family, but you also think of every employee's family as well. And what I'm hearing from both of you is there are going to be challenges, even working together as family. But what we have to do is keep the main thing, which is the well-being, the financial health, the support of all of the families that we take care of, our customers and our team members. And I think that's such a big point. And thank you for telling that story about how you had to navigate a challenging time. Yeah. I want to ask you some rapid fire questions. We usually ask these and you answer in 30 seconds or less. Do the best you can. And really, it's just such a good interview. So what's one business book or one resource that has helped you in your leadership?
Well, one resource has definitely been SBE.
Yep.
The book.
I know the book. It was that was the one for me, but it was the story about interviewing that guy and finding the right person.
Yep,
That
I can't remember
helped
the name
me
of it.
a lot. But I don't remember the name of it, but it was suggested by SBE. But
Okay.
you know,
It's on.
yeah.
If we were in my office right now, it's on my shelf. I could go get it, but
This is what we'll do. Once you tell it to me, we'll put it in the show notes for this episode. So after this is
that'll
over,
work.
you'll find it. Okay, so let me ask Tonya, you first, and then Corey.
Okay.
What's one
Okay.
thing you want to be better at as a leader in the next year?
Communicating.
Okay. What's yours, Corey?
I guess just kind of letting people, leaving them alone, letting them do their job unless they have questions, I guess.
Okay, so delegating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Communicating, delegating. All right, Corey, you get to answer this one first.
All right.
What do you do to de-stress? And what are some of the top ways you enjoy life outside, even outside the office?
Oh, well, right. I mean, both my kids are pretty active in sports and extra stuff. So I don't know if but I coach my son's baseball teams. I don't know really if that's a stress reliever or more of a stress adder, but we have a lot of fun with that. And then
Nice.
daughter does soccer and both of them do gymnastics. So it's a lot of fun going to going to watch them do that. And so
Nice.
just really just family time, really.
Right. Yeah. What about you, Tonya? What's
That's it. Being around my grandkids, no matter if it's watching them play sports or whatever, just being with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Tonya said, I don't miss games. You say
No.
you don't miss games.
No,
That's
this year's
awesome.
a struggle. We've got 4 of them playing, and they're close enough in age where 3 of them are like staggered times where they play at the same time. So Carrie and I just have to split, and one
Yeah.
go in one game, and then we swap the next time. So that's the biggest
Awesome.
thing right there.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Last question. And Tonya, I'm going to ask you to go back to when you started taking over leadership. And Corey, I'm going to ask you to go back to when you started taking over leadership. What's one piece of advice you would have given to yourself back then when you first became a leader?
Be patient.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, patience is one thing, but just kind of two is again, just don't take the stuff personally. Like at that point in time, I guess I was like 26-ish or 7, and everybody that I was the youngest person that worked there. So it's kind of like, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's only been doing this for 2 or 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is. So it's kind of just, don't take that stuff personally and just kind of push through it. And, you'll be the old dude one day. So,
Listen,
What does that make me? Like the dinosaur or something? I mean, seriously?
listen, I told you all this was going to be a fun episode. I know Anya and Corey come together, and you could just tell the dynamic of leadership. And I just want to encourage someone who's watching this. You need to begin preparing someone for leadership, or maybe you are being prepared for leadership. Take the lessons that you've learned in this episode. I want to encourage you to have the conversations, to communicate, to delegate, all of the things that we learned here, and let's continue to lead well. Thank you for listening to the Leading HVAC Podcast. If you would like to learn more about SBE, you can find us online at sbeodyssey.com. That's sbeodyssey.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, we would appreciate it if you would leave us a review on this podcasting platform. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.